to woo the termite princess is, of course,
wearing spandex on a Midsummer Night's Dream.
Mm-hmm. And everyone knows that roly-polies
sleepwalk.
are dream keepers.
Yes. So he stole the magic Sandman dust. Sandman dust. I mean, that's what we would consider it because we always talk about how the Sandman puts people to sleep, but it's really just roly-poly skin shavings. And magically put himself in a dream state, sleptwalked.
Thanks to the roly-polies.
Into the termite kingdom.
And as everyone knows, roly-polies exist in the spirit world and in the real world. So he took his entire legion with him.
And they were all sleepwalking. It was a sight to behold. Seriously, you should see. And he was making little bitty fairy farts.
Someday we hope to make a movie out of this so you can see it for real. But so Super Fairy Geoffrey and his legion of roly-polies rolled into the spirit realm of the termite kingdom.
And while he was in his sleepwalking state, he wooed the princess by presenting to her a bouquet of a very rare flower. What's that flower called?
I think it's called the flutterpuss.
The flutterpuss, that's right, yes.
Because
the opal flutterpuss.
At night, whenever it senses emotions, it like... So it knew that Geoffrey was in love at first sight.
It senses love. It senses love, and then it blossoms.
The moment he saw her, the moment she opened her eyes to see who is this creepy fairy in my room, he saw her.
Obviously sleepwalking and farting.
Exactly. He saw her, and his heart blossomed, as did the flower. And she was immediately wooed.
Taken. Yep.
Taken.
She knew
wooed.
Her heart was his.
Taken.
And his heart was
wooed.
hers.
So
and
wooed.
Sparks flew.
Sparks flew, and even though the roly-poly legion was in the middle of fighting off the guards, the spiritual guards of the termite kingdom, the princess immediately called it off and said, "No! He's
my man. He my man.
He my man.
You keep your hands off, because he my man.
And his little legion, they my friends now."
Yep, and the king was so impressed that somebody was able to woo his daughter, who like hated everybody.
Yeah, she was
had kind of a cold, stony heart, but he melted it. He melted it with his opal flutterpuss, and she became this docile, loving creature.
And the king was so grateful that he said to Sir Super Fairy Geoffrey that he would very kindly and very swiftly take his termite legions, along with the roly-poly legions, and eat that tower to nothingness.
And he presented him with a gift, a very rare sword. There's only one of its kind ever.
It's actually carved out of alien meteorites.
Yes. It's much like, if any of you have ever seen Avatar, The Last Airbender, it's very similar to Sokka's meteor sword. But this was, of course, crafted by the termite dwarves of Nethra. And so
Which
he
is
presented him with
two
this
kingdoms
sword.
lower than the one they were at then, but they had a very nice trade network between the kingdoms.
Yes, it's the only sword of its kind, and it was crafted by their one and only master swordsmith, Harry. Yep, Harry. Harry Threckle.
Harry Threckle the termite.
Yep, and so he got his legion of now roly-poly veterans and
termite veterans.
And
might I say that they've overcome some very, very rough racial boundaries by molding these two peoples together. So it's really a big deal. I think you should understand that. I mean,
they hated each other for like more than just a couple minutes. I mean, they hated each other for centuries.
Yes.
But he, with his wooing of the princess and his mysterious fairy farts, kind of like allowed people to see the light.
He was just very charismatic, let's put it that way.
And they all loved each other, and they stormed the crystalline tower, screaming, what were they chanting the whole way? Ah!
Oreos.
Oreos! Oreos! That's what they, and
because they had tasted Oreos once, and they realized how wonderful they were.
And how powerful a phrase that is. I mean, Oreos.
Have you ever screamed Oreo? People look at you.
At a legion of fairies, strike heart into thousands, let me tell you.
Their hearts were struck.
Especially when all they know are fart-producing fungus.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. But luckily, termites have a lot of experience with tearing things down.
Yes.
So it really only took about, what do you think, 4 minutes?
4 minutes
4
and
and a half
37
minutes?
seconds.
Oh,
4 minutes and
he
37
timed it,
seconds.
I think.
Yep.
And the crystalline tower was completely destroyed.
And
the fairies were released back into the world.
Yep, and they got their first taste of coffee beans and
no more farts.
No more farts. No,
So
they did away with that business.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, all the scientists thought that the ecosystem problems, ozone, was due to fossil fuels and things like that,
styrofoam
and cow
and
methane,
aerosol.
But it was actually fairy farts, not cow farts.
Fairy farts. Global warming, done.
Too much methane from the fairies.
Not a problem anymore.
Thanks to Super Fairy Geoffrey.
Sir Super Fairy Geoffrey. Yep.
Sir Super Fairy Geoffrey.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to him, not only is he a happy man, all the fairies are happy people, and the world is a better place.
And
for you.
And we all know now.
And me.
That even if you're a disgusting little farting fairy, you too can find love if you
still change the world.
You can change the world, and you can find your opal flutterpuss and woo a princess or a prince. I mean, whatever your flavor is, who can say? All right, well that's our story. True in our hearts and our minds,
and true in fiction. We'll leave you with that.
Goodbye, hero.
Today